News is next.
Now, News Channel 6 at 10. Our top story.
Temperatures are on the way down, over 10 degrees in just 5 hours, and is expected to get much colder. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ken Jones.
And I'm Camille Whitworth. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Temperatures will drop even more overnight, and tomorrow it's expected to be more than 20 degrees colder than today.
A hot cup of cocoa is keeping some people warm in the French Quarter tonight, and they'll need more than cocoa tomorrow. Well, let's go right now to Chief Meteorologist Dan Milham with how cold it will be in your neighborhood in the morning.
You're going to have to pay attention as you're driving. There's a wind advisory out until 11 o'clock in the morning, and that wind is going to be blowing the car around as you're trying to drive. 2 hands on the wheel. Temperatures now 30s up at Jackson and Shreveport area, 50s down around us, just like our morning low temperatures. The front has passed, and the wind behind that front is gusting. Look at that, all from the north, bringing that cold air down here. So here's what your morning temperatures are going to look like on the North Shore. That's where you're going to have to worry about the possibility of some danger. Let's take a look at those temperatures on the North Shore tomorrow morning. You're probably going to be below 32 degrees, high 20s. That's a light freeze. Plants and pets will need protection. Now, that's the same for inland and coastal Mississippi. The closer you are to water, the more you're likely to stay above freezing. On the South Shore, above 32, but that doesn't mean you're going to be warm. I'll have more on your temperatures and this wind and the problems it's going to cause when I come back in a minute. But now, you're going to get to see the big system that's causing our cold snap. Ken?
That's certainly right.
Well, the first major snowstorm of the season is bearing down on the Midwest and the Northeast tonight.
We checked with Armstrong International Airport. No major delays to report. Not the case in other parts of the country. Snow is causing whiteout conditions in Michigan, and flights are canceled out of Chicago. Also, heavy snow is predicted from Washington to Boston. Michelle Francis reports on the storm that had its sights set on the Northeast.
For people in the Northeast, it is the biggest winter storm they've seen in nearly a decade.
It's been terrible out here. It's one of those days you wish you were home.
From the glitz of Times Square to the slippery streets of Washington, D.C.,
we need people just to stay off the roads today.
The order of the day was plowing, scraping, and shoveling.
I cannot say that I like it, but it's certainly something I'm used to, and I know how to dress warmly. I have a lot of warm clothes. So the warm clothes is the key for this weather.
This is part of the same storm that buried much of the Midwest under feet, not inches of snow, and left lots of streets and highways impassable. In Milwaukee, the best way to bring home the bacon was on a sled.
Most people think, you know, you got to be crazy, but I like it.
And the best way to get through Royal Oak, Michigan was on skis. But even those who were far from the snowfall path were hindered by this storm.
My sister said 300 flights have been canceled from the city, so we have no idea when we'll get home now.
Washington's Reagan Airport was just one of several major airports experiencing weather delays. Hundreds of flights to and from the Northeast were canceled. Planes stayed on the tarmac, and that meant even passengers in sunny Los Angeles ended up stranded by this serious winter storm.
All of this snow and cold temperatures didn't keep theatergoers away from Times Square. On Broadway, the shows went on. In New York, Michelle Franzen, WDSU News Channel 6. Ken and Camille, back to you.
All right, thank you, Michelle.
Well, Louisiana State Prison at Angola is getting a $10.2 million facelift. The current building has 101 cells for 87 inmates, but the new one will have 160 one-man cells for death row inmates. There will also be a new execution house with more witness rooms, and the new building will also sit farther away from the front gate of the prison.
Dozens of very military families are enjoying their loved ones just back from fighting the war on terror.
About 50 Air Force pilots from the 926th Fighter Wing returned from Afghanistan today. Reporter Ed Reams was at the Naval Air Station in Belle Chase when the troops landed.
A rainstorm kept these families packed inside a terminal at the Belle Chase Naval Air Station, but it couldn't dampen their enthusiasm. The 926th Air Force Reserve Unit has been away since last September. But a little rain isn't going to bother Cynthia Whitney. She's waiting for her fiancé.
Not at all. It wouldn't matter if it was tornado weather. I'm just ready for him to get here.
Marlene Centani says she's so excited to see her grandson Armand that she can hardly sit still.
I'm going to cheer for him like I've done all of his life. Just cheer him on and hug him and kiss him.
USA! The Nakan family is waiting for Todd, his picture on their T-shirts. But this homecoming is bittersweet. They're from Thibodeau and have already grieved for other guardsmen who lost their lives overseas.
I mean, it's just, you know, heartbreaking, and, you know, we support them so much, and, you know, we're fighting for our freedom, and, you know, it's just a tough loss.
Emotional down there, you think?
Yeah, really emotional.
Once the C-17 transport plane was in sight, there was a mix of emotions, lots of cheers and lots of tears. And once the plane stopped and the reservists appeared out the door, you couldn't keep the family members back.
This Air Force Reserve unit was in Afghanistan, not Iraq, but these guys say their mission was just as dangerous, and the family says they're just as happy to have them home.
These pilots are just as happy to be back.
It was tough at times, but we did well. We had a good group of guys. And,
were you antsy, ready to get back here?
Oh yeah, it was time. It was time to get back home.
Home, safe and sound. Ed Reams, WDSU News Channel 6.
All right, and the 926 is made up of pilots that fly the A-10 Thunderbolt. The plane is used against ground targets, including tanks and other armored vehicles. Well, the most popular parts of our state are about to be promoted across the nation. 5 new television commercials, like the one you see here, and 8 new print ads are about to be released. It's all part of a new national media campaign promoting Louisiana as a major tourist attraction. Lieutenant Governor Mitch Landrieu says there will also be billboards and internet ads showcasing the state's beautiful scenery and our unique music.
Topping news around the world tonight, more deadly violence in Iraq this weekend, just 8 days before that country's elections.
1 person is dead and 3 more are injured after a roadside bomb exploded on a highway leading to Baghdad today. There's also word that militants may be holding a Brazilian engineer hostage. And although the United Nations top elections officials in Iraq says conditions are far from ideal, next Sunday's election will go on as planned. Voter registration is extended for absentee ballots because so far voter turnout has been low.
Tonight, Indian officials are calling him proof that miracles do happen. A man found alive on a deserted island 25 days after the deadly tsunami hit. Suffering injuries, the man was able to survive by eating coconuts. He's the only person to survive from his village, which was off the coast of India.
There's now a temporary tsunami warning system in Thailand. It will be used until a more complex system is built with the help from other Indian Ocean countries. Officials are confident the system will be able to give a 15 to 20-minute warning in the event of a tsunami. And several of you here are helping to raise money for tsunami victims. Many people turned out to a benefit concert tonight at Tulane University. The organizer of the event relocated to New Orleans 5 years ago from Bombay, India, and says she wanted to do something to help her native country.
What I thought I could do best was, I'm an artist, so get the whole community together because everybody shares the same emotion, irrespective of where you live, happiness, joy, sorrow, wherever in the world, everybody feels the same.
Music and dancing from around the world entertained the crowd, and all for a very good cause.
Prayers and protests across the nation tonight marking the 32nd anniversary of the U.S. Supreme Court ruling legalizing abortion. Roe versus Wade made abortion a constitutional right. Today's anniversary is receiving more attention than in recent years. There's concern President Bush will try to have the ruling reversed through upcoming appointments to fill expected Supreme Court vacancies. In Georgia, a convicted child molester who kidnapped an 11-year-old boy from his Florida elementary school is the focus of a manhunt. The boy was found safe last night after an Amber Alert was issued. Federal and state authorities believe the suspect is hiding in a wooded area near the location where police found the car used in the kidnapping.
Well, Donald Trump is now a married man again. Instead of saying you're fired, the host of the NBC hit show The Apprentice said, "I do" tonight. The wedding ceremony for Trump and his bride was at a classic garden-studded stone church in Palm Beach, Florida. The guests included a mix of European royalty and Hollywood celebrity singers like Tony Bennett and Billy Joel. All guests enjoyed a bite of the towering 50-pound 7-tier wedding cake, and it was topped with 3,000 iced roses. That's a lot of roses.
That's a lot of roses. And you know when it's divorce, he's going to say you're fired.
You're fired.
You know that, don't you?
Again.
Again,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, it's one of the very few parades allowed to roll through the French Quarter, and it's for adults only, really it is. And we'll tell you about this wild and satirical crew coming up, plus what the forecast looks like for tomorrow's Carnival parades.
And from hoopla to hoops, coming up in sports, how the 3 new Hornet players did on the court tonight. Fletcher Mackel's next. Stay tuned.
You're watching News Channel 6, local, live, late breaking. Today's forecast from Margaret Orr, weekday mornings on 87.7 FM.
This holiday season was brighter than ever for these children because they have found new adoptive homes.
But unfortunately, hundreds of boys and girls in the New Orleans area are still waiting.
But it's not too late for you to help. When you give to 6 Caring Gifts, your donation will help Volunteers of America and the Dave Thomas Foundation find adoptive homes for kids in Greater New Orleans.
Give to 6 Caring Gifts.
News Channel 6, Wendy's, and Volunteers of America, making a difference for kids.
On some roads, it might not matter that your GMC Yukon has the tightest turning radius in its class, but having the best fuel efficiency of any V8 in its class matters whatever road you're on. Never underestimate the value of professional grade. Current GM owners or lessees can purchase a 2005 Yukon XL with $1,500 loyalty cash and add it to $3,000 cash back for $4,500 total cash back. See the pros at your professional grade GMC dealers.
Get your big screen for the big games at the lowest prices in town during A1's Super Bowl of Savings, starting with up to 3 years no interest.
Get the latest technology at the lowest prices. That's why we are the electronics specialist.
Save $200 on this Sony 42-inch big screen and get guaranteed low prices and free next-day delivery every day at A1.
For quality, service, and selection, you can count on A1.
Yeah, things are looking A1. A1 Appliance and Electronics.
Camille Whitworth on WDSU News Channel 6.
Take a look, not intended for children, but rather the adults of the French Quarter. The wild and satirical Crew de Vous paraded tonight. This year's theme, what would vous do? Questioned many of the moral issues of the day, and as always, the event brought out many unusual costumes. Crew de Vous started in 1987 after the Crew of Clones ended. And if you missed tonight's parade, don't worry, there are other ways and other parades suitable for the whole family to see.
Yeah, really, children this time. The Little Rascals Parade through Metairie rolls at 11 a.m., followed by the Crew of Perseus, that's in Slidell, at 1 p.m., and the Crew of Pearls rolls through Pearl River at 1:15.
And you can get a virtual taste of Carnival on our website. All you have to do is log on to the NewOrleansChannel.com and click on Carnival 2005 for a comprehensive guide to the season. Plus, you'll find specials beyond the parades, maps, and see action from our live Mardi Gras cam from Bourbon Street.
Better grab your coat out there if you plan to watch those parades along the route tomorrow.
That's right. While it was pleasant for revelers marching in the Driftwood Parade, you see it there, tomorrow will be drastically different. Chief Meteorologist Dan Milham. And Dan, how drastic are we talking?
Very. About as drastic as it gets here.
Really?
You know, from 70s today to 40s tomorrow. Somewhere like 25 degrees lower. And that's not counting the wind.
That's drastic.
You're going to have to mask as Eskimos and Inuits and Siberians tomorrow to be dressed appropriately. But it won't be as bad as this. There it is. That's one of the most beautiful places, if you don't mind a little neon. That's Times Square area in Manhattan. And that's Broadway under that snow there.
Really?
But, you know, it's not a good night for dancing on Broadway, more like slipping and sliding on Broadway. That's what the whole Northeast is going through. So, of course, as usual, in the wintertime weather, they're a lot worse than we are. But it's that system that's bringing us our cold weather. It's just started now. Look outside now. This is live through the city cam. It's a pretty night out there. The sky is clearing as the rain in the front and the clouds all head off to the east. 50s now, 54 at the airport and at Lakefront Airport, 50 at Slidell, and 56 up at Audubon Uptown. 52% humidity. Humidity's going down. The pressure's going up because cold air is heavy, and the wind is going up too. As expected, it's a north wind at 21, and it's gusting up into the 30s, and it's only going to get higher. All right, we've established that the cold temperatures are going to be on the North Shore. That's where the light freeze is. 30s on the South Shore, and that's everybody should stay above 32, but still be in the 30s tomorrow. And we've mentioned the wind. That's going to make it feel like the 20s. And on the coastal waters, that means a gale warning. Really rough conditions through tomorrow morning. If you have any plans to be in a boat, even on the lake, I don't think it's going to be good in the morning. And there's another condition that high wind will cause for places like Lake Pontchartrain with a strong wind, and we're talking 30 to 40 miles an hour coming across from the north-northwest. That's going to push water away from the shore on the north and west sides of the lake, and it's going to push water against the shore, high water, on the east and south sides of the lakes, any of the lakes, not just Pontchartrain. Lakeshore Drive could have some wave water splashing over it tomorrow. And the wind is going to be that way until this whole frontal system moves a little farther to the east, taking the strongest wind with it. High pressure moving in late tomorrow and Monday means calmer, but also colder conditions. Remember, you can check the forecast by calling the Com1 Weather Check. Here's a brief look at the temperatures tomorrow. Notice I don't think they're going to get above 50, even to it. 207 WDSU is the Com1 Weather Check number. Don't see much rain in the forecast, but we see a cold day tomorrow and an even colder morning. May even be a light freeze on the South Shore Monday morning. And then we start to see a little bit of a warm-up back to the milder, more typical temperatures that you would expect if you looked at the average. 2 cold days, and then we get the mild stuff back.
All right, we'll give it up for a couple days.
You got it.
Yeah, no choice. You're right. Thank you, Dan.
Well, a full day of college basketball action. Fletcher Mackel has the highlights coming up next in sports.
Plus, an amazing finish for the Hornets. Did Byron Scott's team win their 4th consecutive game at home? We'll let you know right after the break.
The road to perfection is not on any map. It cannot be found in a road atlas. To get there, you set your speed at impossible. And never take your foot off the accelerator. The new ES, refined with a passion. At Lexus of New Orleans.
A shift has been made. And the full-size truck party finally got interesting. A shift has been made. And the mid-size truck feels a whole lot bigger. A shift has been made. And when you think tough, powerful, innovative trucks, think Nissan.
Dealers starting the year off big with 0 Plus. Grab Ram 1500 to get 0% financing plus bonus cash of $2,000 for total savings up to $7,100. That includes the Bighorn Edition with big 20-inch wheels and big power, thanks to an available 345 horsepower Hemi, making it the most powerful truck in its class. Grab 0 Plus only at your Southern Dodge dealer.
Some people prefer the functionality of the Element. Some prefer the rugged versatility of the CR-V. Others just like the room and power of the 8-passenger Pilot. But all three are leaders in their class for fuel economy and have been rated an excellent value. So no matter which one you choose, it'll be the right choice. The CR-V, the Pilot, the Element from Honda. Now you can lease a Honda Pilot EX for $279 a month.
Mazda 3i. It's so much fun to drive, it was just named a 2005 Automobile Magazine All-Star. And here's another reason to get excited. Lease a 2005 Mazda 3i 4-door for just $179 a month for 42 months with $2,583 due at lease signing. Test drive one at your New Orleans area Mazda dealer now.
When severe weather's in your neighborhood, you want information that's live, up to the minute. That's Super Doppler 6000. It's live radar.
This is WDSU News Channel 6 Sports Now with Fletcher Mackel.
Move over, Rex, because if Hornets guard Dan Dickau keeps playing like he did tonight against the Clippers, he's going to be the king of Mardi Gras. 6 weeks ago, this guy was riding pine in Dallas, but today he's emerging as one of the better players on a rebuilding Hornets team. Fourth quarter action finds Dickau dishing to J.R. Smith for the assist. Smith scored 12 on a 4-for-11 night from the field. Then Dan, the man, went off. Dickau scored 17 19 points in the fourth quarter, including the last 7 of the game. That 3 puts Byron Scott's team up by 3, but Bobby Simmons can also shoot. This great shot ties the game at 85 apiece with 10 seconds left. So with time running down, who do you think's going to play hero? Of course, Dickow with the game winner, 27 for the night, as the Hornets win their 4th consecutive at home. The final score 88-85. They're now 7-32 overall. College basketball now, and the Tulane Green Wave, who entered today's game against rival Southern Miss with a 1-4 conference record. Good news, though, the Golden Eagles came in 0-5 in Conference USA play. This was a great game to watch. Lots of running and scoring. Rashad Caruth for the Golden Eagles with the nice finish, but Tulane would have a shot late. Green Wave freshman David Gomez strong inside to bring the Wave just a little bit closer. Then, with time expiring, another freshman, Taylor Rachetti, tries to tie the game. He misses, and Gomez puts the ball in, but he shouldn't have, because they needed a 3, not a 2, so they fall to Southern Miss 61-60. UNO wins their first road game of the season 66-60. Loyola also a winner on the road 57-70 against William Carey, Loyola a loser, and Xavier wins 84-72. Women's scores, Loyola wins on the road 59-38, and the Xavier women improved to 19-1 overall by beating Suno 65-61. This afternoon, the LSU Tigers, winners of 4 consecutive games, travel to face Kentucky, a team that hadn't beaten on the road since 1989. But super sophomore Brandon Bass and freshman sensation Big Baby Davis, the Tigers can now play with anyone. That's Brandon Bass filling it up early. He led the Tigers with 14 points. Darryl Mitchell can also drain the long ball. He'd go 4 of 14 from the field for 10 points. Then freshman Big Baby Davis struggled, though. He can't find the rim, and then he can't put the ball into the hole. On his second opportunity, he gets only 9 points and had a tough day inside, and late Kentucky pulled away. Randolph Morris with the monster finish inside as the Wildcats win in a rout 89-58. The weather for tomorrow's AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh isn't going to be as nasty as the NFC game in Philadelphia, but it won't exactly be desirable, and that's the way the Pats like it. Like last week when Teddy Bruschi and the New England defense battered Peyton Manning and hoped to do the same to struggling rookie Ben Roethlisberger.
I'm going to try not to play as bad as I played last week. Obviously, like I said many times, if it wasn't for our defense and the 10 other guys on offense, we wouldn't have won that game. So they carried it, and hopefully I'll be able to carry my end of the bargain this week.
The NFC Championship game pits Atlanta and Philadelphia against one another. The Eagles are currently 5-point favorites. In other football news, former LSU wide receiver Jarrell Myers was cut by the Voodoo today. Head coach Mike New still has to make 3 more roster moves before the season begins next Saturday in Georgia. A minute ago, we talked about the bad weather in the Northeast, and that part of the country isn't alone. The Buick Invitational near San Diego had to be postponed today due to heavy fog, but before play was called, Tiger Woods went off. He's currently tied with Tom Lehman, who's practicing right there. And finally, Shadowcast won the 26th running of the Truly Bound Handicap at the fairgrounds this afternoon. The jockey was, of course, Robbie Alvarado. The colt is trained by Neil Howard. And that's a look at sports.
Good deal. All right. Thank you, Fletcher.
Well, we'll be right back after the break. Stay with us.
The newly designed Nissan Altima. Engaging. A shift in style. From fit to finish. It's forward thinking. Introducing the beautifully redesigned 2005 Nissan Altima. And now with a $219 a month lease. Just $219 a month on Altima. Enlightening. See your Nissan dealer now.
The 2005 Accord from Honda. When you consider the Accord was rated the best overall value in its class, and given the fact it also has the lowest depreciation in its class, there's really only one thing left to say. Our sentiments exactly. The 2005 Accord from Honda. Now you can lease an Accord LX sedan for $219 a month.
On some roads, it might not matter that your GMC Yukon has the tightest turning radius in its class. But having the best fuel efficiency of any V8 in its class matters, whatever road you're on. Never underestimate the value of professional grade. Current GM owners or lessees can purchase a 2005 Yukon XL with $1,500 loyalty cash and add it to $3,000 cash back for $4,500 total cash back. See the pros at your professional grade GMC dealers.
Jacob Shane & Son is a graceful place, rich in tradition, where Shane family involvement assures special requests are handled with dignity and care, and friends and family gather to celebrate a life lived. At Shane, we take pride in personalizing meaningful memorials at a price affordable to all. It remains our privilege to help families plan appropriate farewells and provide exceptional service now and for generations to come. Jacob Shane & Son.
Chevy Trailblazer and Trailblazer EXT, known for their ability to handle rugged terrain, but with available features like XM satellite radio, Bose speakers and DVD, and EXT's roomy seating for 7 adults. Rugged terrain feels more like the lap of luxury. Current GM owners can get $3,500 total cash back when you purchase a 2005 Chevy Trailblazer or Trailblazer EXT. Chevy Trailblazer and Trailblazer EXT, an American revolution. For the #1 selling cars and trucks, see your Super Chevy dealer today.
Your Dodge dealer's starting the year off big with 0 Plus. Grab Ram Heavy Duty and get 0% financing plus bonus cash of up to $2,000 for total savings of up to $7,000. Or grab Bighorn Heavy Duty with an available Cummins Turbo Diesel that cranks out 610 foot-pounds of torque, more than Chevy or Ford Super Duty. Grab 0 Plus only at your Southern Dodge dealer.
A shift has been made, and better stories will be told. And hardcore just got harder, core. And taking 8 camping was only a problem for the tent. And the concrete jungle is finally tamed. A shift has been made. And when you think adventure, on-road or off, think Nissan.
That's all for now, everyone.
What's the fastest way to get big bucks? Instant money refund.